Are you doing research on YouTube to learn about setting up your first aquarium? Well, I've got good news. I just got done setting up this 75-gallon tank right here behind me in my office, and in the next couple of videos, I'm going to share with you all of the decisions that had to be made before spending a single dollar. So let's get right into it. Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals. Super excited to be here with you today to talk all about this 75-gallon tank here behind me. I'm going to talk about the 3 most critical decisions that have to be made before you do anything in this hobby. These rules apply to everyone. So whether you're setting up your first tank or your 50th, we can all get something out of this. If you're new here and you want to see more videos about this pretty complex hobby, you should consider subscribing to this channel. I've got over 350 videos all about how to keep fish in glass boxes, including a 10-part series called The Ultimate Guide to Your First Aquarium. I go into a whole lot more detail in that series than I'll be able to here. I'll put a link right here. When it comes to setting up a new aquarium, what a lot of people do is they make the decision they want to get one because they think it'll be cute and it'll be fun to have it in the corner somewhere. They run down to their local pet store and they just pick something out, take it home, and set it up. And it's only then that they start looking into how they should take care of it. Big mistake. You should be learning this stuff and you should be educating yourself before you do anything. When I made the decision to put a tank in here, it was after a lot of thought. I had to make a whole bunch of decisions before I ever went out and spent a dime. And that's what this video is all about. So let's get into the 3 biggest decisions that need to be made before you spend a single penny on anything to do with this hobby. Those decisions are: what size tank are you going to get? Where are you going to put it? And what are you going to put in it? Now, I believe that you can make life a whole lot easier and enjoy this a whole lot more if those decisions are made in a certain order. The first decision that you should make is what kind of fish are you going to put in the tank? Now, I know a lot of people would tell you differently, but here's why I feel this way. If you have the perfect spot in your living room, let's say, and you look at it and you say, okay, I can fit a 20-gallon aquarium in there. That's perfect. So you go out, you buy the 20-gallon, you bring it home, you set it all up, you get it all nice and pretty, get the filter running, get it cycled, and then you go to the pet store and say, I want that Oscar. Guess what's going to happen? The person, if they're a responsible fish store, the person working there is going to say, well, what kind of tank do you have? What size tank? And you're going to say a 20-gallon. And they're going to say, you shouldn't buy an Oscar for a 20-gallon tank. You should be getting smaller community type fish because an Oscar will never do well in a 20-gallon. You're basically setting yourself up for heartbreak. If you make the decision of what kind of fish you're going to keep first, then you know what size tank you need to get, and you got to manipulate things, and maybe you have to move things around and stuff like that to accommodate the size tank that's going to fit the kind of fish that you want. You don't end up getting your heart broken here. So I've seen it too many times where people have walked into a fish store and they've said, oh, I like that. I want that for my tank. Nope, you can't have that. It's going to get too big. Oh, well, I like those. No, those are too big. You need to stay over here in the microfish section. People don't like that. Get your heart set on a fish first, and then we'll make the tank suitable to fit those fish. I made the decision for my office that I wanted to go with peacocks. I wanted to kind of go back to my roots. The whole thing that got me started on YouTube was talking all about African cichlids. And peacocks happen to be one of my absolute favorite fish to keep. So I decided I'm going to go with an all-male, very active, very vibrant, very colorful tank in here. So I knew that I was going to have to go with a certain size tank. A minimum of 55 gallons, but even better than that would be 75 gallons. But of course, the tank is never big enough when it comes to Africans. Bigger's always better. So the second decision is going to be what size tank you're going to get. Now you are going to make this decision based on the decision you made first, which was what kind of fish are you going to keep. You know, because you want an Oscar, you know that you need a minimum of 75 gallon, and that's even probably too small.
Hey.
But now you at least know what size tank you need to get to accommodate the fish that you want. So everything works easier when you make the decision of what kind of fish you want to keep first. You make that decision, that tells you what size tank you need, and now comes the third decision. Now, this might sound like a no-brainer, but the third decision is, where are you going to put it? There is some thought that needs to be put into this. I know it seems simple. Well, I got a blank spot right there. But there's more to it than that, folks, because if you've made the decision that you want to keep African cichlids and you know you need at least 75 gallons, you need to consider how much that tank is going to weigh. If you have an area in your house that's not very well supported, you might not want to go sticking something there that's going to weigh 500, 600, 700 pounds when it's full of water. You might want to stay away from that. So finding the right spot in your house is going to be the critical thing, making sure that it's supported. Of course, a basement is always best, but we all don't have that luxury of using a basement. So what's the next best thing? The outer perimeter of a house is going to be one of the strongest areas, but even still, I would not personally put an aquarium over maybe 75, maybe even 90 gallons on a floor that is above a basement, like a second floor or a third floor. That's just me. I've heard nightmare stories. I would probably stay to 75 gallons, again, maybe 90 or lower if it's on a second floor. But in a basement, you can put anything down there. So pay very close attention to where you're putting it in the house. Make sure that that area can support an aquarium. Now, I'm going to give you one of the best pieces of advice I've given you in this whole video. And I know it sounds like common sense, but hear me out here. Put your aquarium where you spend the bulk of your time. And by that, I don't necessarily mean your bedroom. Unless you're a kid and that's all you've got, that's fine. I'm talking about the places in your house where you spend the most of your time. Whether it's the family room, or maybe it's a den, maybe you have a man cave, or an office like this. Think about it. If you stick your aquarium that you're just getting into, you're just setting up your first tank, this is all brand new to you, and you stick it way back in the back corner of your basement, that you actually have to make an effort to go down there and see it, how long is it going to take for you to forget about it and lose interest in it? We don't want that. We want this tank staring at you in the face all the time. Because why? First of all, you're going to enjoy it more. But second of all, you're going to take better care of it because it's there staring at you all the time. If there's a bunch of algae, you're not going to have that. You're going to want to keep that thing clean. The tank will be cleaner, it'll look better, and the fish will be healthier. So everybody wins if you put the tank somewhere where you are going to be spending a lot of your time. For me, that was pretty simple. I spend all my time in my family room kitchen area and this office. So I knew that my aquarium was going to go in one of those two places. But I also wanted it to serve as the backdrop of my videos, so for me, it was a no-brainer. Stick it right here in the office. Now, I lucked out and already had this aquarium stand, which is made for a 75-gallon tank, sitting around. We were using it to hold our printer, so all I needed to do was go and buy the tank. I used to have 8 75-gallon tanks when I had my store. I gave them all away. So I actually had to go and buy this new 75-gallon tank, and the closest thing that I have to me that has those was a PetSmart. And a really cool thing happened when I got to the PetSmart.
KGTropicals, first time, right in the job. I ain't recognize him. He came in, I said, this man look familiar. Next thing, I'm like, KGTropicals.
Can't go anywhere, jeez.
You can't go anywhere, man. That's funny, man. Wow.
So I brought the tank home, completely rearranged this room, got it all set, put the tank in place, painted the background, and then I realized the tank was sitting too low. It didn't show well in my videos. So I decided to build a small platform to put the tank up on, which actually put it at this level here, which you can see is absolutely perfect for my videos. So again, I made the decision to put African cichlids, more specifically peacocks, in a tank that I knew I wanted to have in an office, which would serve as the backdrop for my videos. And not only that, but also serve as my pets. I knew where to put it. I knew, because I wanted African cichlids, what size tank I needed. So all 3 of those decisions were made, and they were all made before I ever even spent $1. To recap, what kind of fish are you going to keep, which will tell you what size tank you need to get, and then where are you going to put it. That is the process that I go through when setting up a new aquarium, and I hope that that helps you out when you're setting up yours. I got this tank all set up. I've got it all situated the way I like it, and I am really happy with the way it looks, not only in videos, but also when I just want to sit here and stare at it, even though I don't really have anything in there to stare at yet. But that leads us to the topic of next week's video. We're going to talk all about the next decision that needed to be made for this aquarium, which is the filtration. I put a behemoth on this tank to make sure that it makes my job a little bit easier when it comes to filtration. So we're going to talk all about the Fluval FX6 in next week's video. It's overkill for a tank like this, but I'm going to say it again, bigger's always better.
That's what she said.
So make sure you subscribe and click that little bell next to the subscribe button so that you get notified when I upload that video, and it'll also notify you when I go live on Sunday morning. I do a live stream every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. We have all kinds of fun in there talking all things fish keeping, so you're not going to want to miss that. It's free to subscribe, so just do it. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, folks, these fish are living things. They're not decorations. Do your job and take care of your fish. They'll reward you for it. We'll see you next time.